Thanks for coming to the Dash call. Today is I think it's our 159th call, so we've been doing this for a while. I'll go ahead and turn off the camera, and I'm going to share my screen. I hope you guys can see.
Yep.
Can you guys see? Yeah, cool. All right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so we did have the Labor Day weekend, and you know, what's interesting is I noticed most people came back after Labor Day, but then a lot of our dev managers went for their time off. So like a lot of people from the Sonic team and the SDN team started taking some time off. So which is good. Everyone needs to take their time off. So this is last time's notes. I hope you got them all. I was asking everyone to please go to the Linux Foundation list, put your name there, because then I can decom that sonic-at googlegroups.com. So that would be awesome. That would help me out a lot. And then we talked about in here we had the HA feature development, the HA Manager D, and all that stuff going on with HA, and also addressing ZMQ issues. So we had that, and we were working on VNet mapping improvements last week, and then we talked about OCP. Sorry if I'm going a little bit fast, and so the churn continues. We had done 12 PRs in the completed state, and we had 39 in progress, which is quite a few. So I'm working on some new reporting for this, and then of course the main notes were down here at the bottom, along with the recordings if anyone wanted to go check it out on YouTube. So that's kind of what happened this last time. Don't know if there's any questions about that. Okay, and so what's interesting this time is, I'm just pulling this over here. Number one, this is the lists, the members, and this is how I manage that part. And I think in the email section, this is where we start seeing the emails that people can sign up to get for all of our notes, etc. The notes aren't formatted exactly like I would like, but it's a close enough approximation. I'm not getting the great formatting or anything, but I can keep working on that. So what I'm not going to do is I still need to go through all of these yellow in progress and check the status on these. Some of them are older, some of them they're lower priority, so I'll go through these. But what I did do and what I did want to show you is we still have the queue of awaiting review is starting to decline, which is good. I checked each of these, what we're doing and what we're waiting on. For example, the container offloader is still waiting for a review from Gang and Prabhat. We have the source Mac rewrite feature for our internal Azure dedicated team, but they were waiting on they're blocked by some validation on the sonic management test, so they're working on that. And of course, we have some HA test cases, etc., that's being worked on by Alberto at Keysight and Jing, and this is also another one of theirs, the new HA scope config table, and the UHD support. So things like that. This one here, we were waiting on Bing to merge it, this HA scope config table for automation. So, and it's been tagged over here with this. We did have. I need a reviewer for this one. This one was a contribution by kind of someone newer that I hadn't worked with before, F4, and I assume Farhan from, I'm not sure where he's from, but just doing a update and cap functionality. So that was nice to see. And then I think Lawrence is working on this track VNet map of PA validation. So other stuff we're working on is adding this IPv4 field and attribute to the DPU section in the Yang model. And this is someone else I haven't met before, KK the Baller. And so anyway, I guess the table needed to support this field, so you put that in there. And then we're also all working on the graceful shutdown. And then what's also interesting is in the last week and a half, 2 weeks since we met last time, these are all the items that are done, and there's around 25. So whether we know it or not, whether you follow the repo or not. Just seems like there's a lot of work going on in the different repos. So in particular, you guys can call out if you think anything's interesting, but I found the route exchange one to be interesting. And I think that we had talked about the DPU restart matches dropped by ZMQ lazy bind. That one's done. There was a time gap between the server and the sender and the receiver there. So a little bit more HA work, new fields here to align with the HLD, and also here HA manager D to dash HA container. So this one, I know Morali, we'd been waiting on this one, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I lost
That's
my
okay.
mouse to find unmute.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
So this is in integration test right now, and we have got the peering going between the two DPUs with HA Manager D, control plane connectivity, and peering going. I think the signaling side is being worked on to do the BFD, signaling and fast failover type, testing integration. So what we have got is configuration peer setup one-on-one with DPU to DPU across devices.
Yep.
And the control plane channel established. I think we have like some private link flows being created. May not be at scale yet, but at least the flow creation is also happening. So I think we are in state of ability to push more testing now.
Yeah, this was a pretty big one, so I thought you guys might be interested. And I know Prabhat just joined, and Prabhat, I was trying to let everyone know we're getting quite a bit of work done. It's almost impossible to go through every one of these, so I was just picking out ones I thought were interesting for the community, if that's okay. In another one here I thought was interesting, fixing the HA state. So that's been corrected, so it can be set here. And let's see, we talked about this one. Update DPU scope state table name. So that work got done with Cisco and the HA team, which would be Jing and the Keysight team, etc. And then they put in some cleanup logic for HA. I guess that we needed some deletes and some cleanup of the database entries. So they went ahead and did that work. That was Fred from Cisco. I don't know if he's on the call.
No, Fred is probably not on the call, but all of this is around the whole HA logic integration fixes along with unit testing that's happening right now.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had a fix for a cold reboot test that's been fixed by NVIDIA. And here there was support added for show chassis modules, mid-plane status and deviant. So this person is on the Sonic team, Jing, different Jing than Jing Zhang. And so they wanted to add the support here, and it was quite a bit changed here in the files changed. But just in case you're interested, there's support for that now. And changed date time format, and we had a SCI-HA change here, so that you take a disabled field and you're setting it to apparently what it was supposed to be, and Jing was working on that. And so we have quite a few HA this time around, and so that's kind of where we are from a done perspective. Is there anything you guys want to talk about or comment on about any of these? So ton of work from the NVIDIA team and the Cisco team, and I still need to go through all of these in progress up here. But if you take a look at the Insights tab, you can see 40 done this week, over 25 since the last time. It's quite a bit. I know we're not really metrics driven. I'm usually more interested in what's happening in the PR than how many we get done, but I think we're getting very, very close to getting a couple of scenarios done to go ahead and demo. And then I think we have Pranjal from our SDN team. He's working on the VTAP presentation that he wants to do for you guys. And that would be a description of what it is and maybe the packet transformations and the changes needed in the pipeline. So
yeah,
go ahead.
And then, hey, Krishna, I want to also
Michael.
add something. So we had some meeting to reviewing some HA orchestration inside because we are also starting integrating the HA. So Jing from our side, where she was basically going through the workflow of the HA, right? And I think the workflow has what it needs, but there may be some changes required to call the actual DPUs to kind of orchestrate the active passive, because we noticed some discrepancy that in case the cards were called basically directly, not through the switch, right? There was original contract that both cards were active, were set to active, but at the same point, which one is receiving traffic was kind of coordinated through this like a BGP prepend, right? In the new mode that the switch is actually responsible for redirecting to a first card versus the second card from the point of this kind of stuff, right? I think there may have been some discrepancy with regards to whether we should still call two cards as active inside, or should we call the first card as active versus passive, and the prepend does something like this. So I believe there was some confusion on the
modes
side.
Can be supported. Yeah, both modes can be supported, Michael, eventually, right? I think it's just a progression of functionality and validation, perhaps, right? Because the logic here is slightly different because the NPU comes into the play, and if there's a failover, there's a NCAP added to the new, redirect that needs to go to the remote DPU. So there are some slight logic changes. But active or active standby is just a nuance in the mode. So that can be done. I think Jing mentioned that she's having some detailed demo or a call with you guys next week, right?
Yeah, so she has the demo scheduled this week, right? And
I see. Okay.
For the HA working, right? But what we are discussing is kind of the kind of like DPU replacement strategy. So for example, in case one DPU becomes unhealthy for one reason or another, right? We need to, for example, pair the original DPU with completely different DPU, right? So basically change the pairing orchestration, right? Then right now we are working through the step to make sure that this pairing happens correctly. And stuff like this. And there was something that Jing mentioned that some of the calls to the DPU when the DPU is being set up as the in some mode are immutable or something like this. So she's investigating. So FYI, there may be some changes, some PR that she'll be doing from the HA stuff, right? And also Prabhat is here, right? So on the Sonic team, we also had review from the point of view of managing the get state table, right? Because what we notice is when we call the normal dash APIs, right? The normal dash APIs basically later programs the SI APIs, right? But for example, in case the DPU reboots, then the control plane needs to know whether we need to push the state again, right? So in original stuff, for example, Sonic was not discovering that in case of the DPU's reboot was not clearing the state table. So the control plane believed that the state was still there, populated, this kind of stuff, right? So there will be one of two designs that I believe Prabhat and the team are still discussing internally, like either that Sonic itself, after the DPU reboots, will start to reprogram the state by itself to kind of plumb it, or will basically delete the state in the state table to indicate to our control plane that state needs to be repushed from scratch, and then you push from scratch, something like this, right? And there was also something about versioning that is still being discussed, right? So Prabhat, do you have any update? Have you guys were able to meet maybe? Or not yet? Or this is,
not yet, Michael. So we will mostly get to those after POC. So the still focusing on getting things ready for POC. So
so the POC, and it has also a lot of management tests that were added. So thank you very much, guys. So this is super cool. because we can do it. The first sonic images that we have, we kind of like patch them on different switches and DPUs, and right now we are setting up the control plane to kind of call it, and we will see. So super cool.
Yeah, Michael's team's been working really hard on getting a connection open from the controller and the service to the device, and bringing up the service, etc. So they're doing that on the SDN side of the house. Is that right, Michael?
Yes. So pretty soon there will be some potentially live VMs, live traffic going through the smart switches fully deployed.
Yeah. For Microsoft's development and testing, we have a few devices in the test lab. So we have a few devices in what we call the canary region, which is, where we kind of evaluate before we go to production. And then we also have some devices over in production and working in what we call dark mode, which means the DPUs are turned down, but it acts like a normal switch. And then we can layer on top of that, turn up the DPUs and enable the features as we move forward. So it's kind of what we're doing at Microsoft. I'm not sure what other companies are doing, if you wanted to share. And of course, Keysight works with us to do the performance validation along the way. So, hey, Ted, I saw you come online. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
I just switched from mobile to my office. Sorry.
Cool, yeah. And Mircha, is there anything you wanted to cover? I know you're just waiting on stable images, etc.
Just differences between configs and how do we solve them. So on different vendors, if I have the same JSON, it's not gonna load. There are like differences. It's just because.
But they should load, right? Why it doesn't load? Because but the JSON is calling the dash, or it's calling the.
I don't know. You have like region ID. One supports it, one doesn't. You have trusted VNI. One needs it, one doesn't need it. I don't know. Like.
So we said that's actually an interesting question, because I believe Prabhat right now in the newest image, all the different vendors' images should right now be supporting trusted VNIs and region ID, right? Like why there is discrepancy? Because from control plane we also have the same discrepancy.
Regional ID is not part of the before pipeline, so there is no use in Sonic. So we asked that question a while ago, and Prince told us that we can ignore the region ID, right?
Sure, but you guys should not discard the configuration in the case that dash. So basically is the behavior that, for example, let's say sometimes we can call with this region ID, it will be accepted by ignored, and sometimes we will call with the region ID and it will be just blocked.
We need to have a clear requirements. So what we discussed up till now, that we can remove the region ID from the configuration and it would be fine. So if we need to ignore them, so we need to discuss that, and if the requirements will be clear, we will update the implementation.
So Prabhat, how exactly this works? So basically, can we call like all the different Sonic images with the same parameters? And
I think everything trusted VNIs should be consistent across all vendors. I think there might be a slight discrepancy for region ID. I think which we needed for Pensando probably is not needed for NVIDIA. Is that right?
Sure, but Prabhat, if we need it versus not needed, it means that basically from our control plane we will always call with it, right? So does it mean that, for example, on NVIDIA side will error out if the region ID is provided, or what is happening?
And it's not only this. So one second, sorry for interrupting, but it's these are just some examples. There are other 10 examples. It's okay if I take the JSON. Yeah, if I take the JSONs from one vendor versus the other, and I do a diff and I log a ticket with the diffs. Will that be okay? I mean,
definitely.
Doesn't seem any private info there.
Put the ticket with the diffs because and Prabhat, I'll say maybe to Prabhat or someone from the Sonic team, because like we should figure out why we need to have a different dash side Norban dash configuration to call different switches because we would like at the end one configuration to work on all.
So Michael, if you can provide us an example configuration that should be accepted and should work, it would simplify for us, this integration process.
I think right, Michael. So this is in context of what we discussed a couple of weeks ago. So if you can provide us a sample config, I know you said it might be difficult, but if you can provide that, that will simplify, the back and forths, and we can make sure it works on all vendors, right?
Yeah. So this we are working on this, and the reason why I'm saying we are working on this because we have a configuration from the old time when we did original POC in January, right? When we kind of had to hack up all the stuff. So the config from that time when we hack up all the stuff is in no way basically the config that right now we'll be calling, right? And the config that right now we are be calling, right? We theoretically have the code that basically calls it, right? But at the end we also till we fully integrated end-to-end with right now the switches which went to Canary with the newest images and newest stuff, right? We also know if we hit into any gotchas, and you will see. So as I would say, as soon as we have a first clean run that the state got accepted, at least on one device, we will know if they're gotcha or not gotcha, and then we basically will provide this config, right? So I think that's the start, because right now we don't want to provide something that we are calling which we don't know if even on a single device it works. It's kind of like this. So
So
ideally,
from at least, sorry, go ahead.
Ideally, we would like to have a sample configuration, and we would like to embed the sample configuration into the sonic management test.
Yes.
In that case, we can run the test. We can show you that the test is passing, and it's aligned with the configuration.
Yeah, so and the Prabhat, do we have the sonic management test that Alexander is asking for or not?
Yes. So sonic management is available, and it uses the same config for all vendors. But again, we want to make sure that what you guys will be programming in POC will be similar to what we have in sonic management. So once you provide us the POC sample config, the baseline config, then we can make sure that the sonic management tests are aligned to that.
Okay. So Prabhat, the Mircea, you have basically this kind of like the differences that you see, right?
Test private link. Yeah, I have hero test private link both on NVIDIA and AMD Pensando running, and I can make a diff and log a ticket.
Yeah, let's do the diff, log a ticket, right? And Prabhat, basically double check if the config that Mircea is running, is it in some way basically part of it maybe are not covered in the management test, and the solutions that basically the parts that are not covered in this config or that are the diff maybe need to add the management tests. Maybe that's the stuff.
Yeah, and also I'm not sure if Mircea is using the latest image available on 2025.
I have August 28 August or something like this. The image I updated like I don't know 2 weeks ago, a week ago. So I would say it's pretty recent.
Is that 2025 06?
It says master.
Okay. Yeah, master might also work, but all the sonic management tests and verification and everything on Canary is being done on 2025 06.
Yeah,
master might be unstable.
Yeah, let me put a diff.
Unstable from the sonic point of view, and so our current target is 2025 06. So we should stick to it.
Anyway, let me put a diff, and we can go one by one. And
you can open a GitHub ticket, assign it to me, specify which OS version you are using, provide the full config, and what is the diff that you're seeing between the two vendors, and then we can take it from there. And we will also wait for Michael to provide the config, and ideally we want everybody to be using the same config.
So. Exactly, and we covered this in the management test, right? So Mircea, once you open the ticket, right, paste the ticket, assign this to Prabhat maybe at the beginning, and Prabhat maybe check if the specific diff fields, which Mircea noticed as a diff fields, do we have coverage for those in management tests? Because maybe we have coverage for multiple fields, but maybe not those, and the solution will be just to add coverage for those, right?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a smart thing to do. Thanks, Mircea.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Christina and Michael, I think NVIDIA folks had some questions that they posted in emails to Michael. Since Michael is also here, and I think Vivek and Sasha are also here, maybe you could bring that up. Vivek,
Sure.
Sasha, do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead, Vivek. I never know whether to say Alexander or Sasha, so.
It's both are fine.
It's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, guys.
Let me just. Viva, go ahead.
What was the question? I missed it.
The request that we had about
you guys had a couple of questions on. I think I saw a couple of emails. I think one from you, one from Sasha.
Okay. The first one is the VNI. We currently only add one VNI in the appliance table, right? Which means we only configure one direction lookup entry inbound. Now the question is, we don't have provision to do it through schema in Sonic. Sai supports it, but we don't have the provision. So we want to check if there's any plan to handle it, and is it needed for demo.
I think more than one VNI for inbound, you're saying?
Yeah, inbound lookup entries, yes. Direction lookup entries as inbound. Program them as inbound.
That's for the floating NIC feature.
Yeah, for the floating NIC feature for the VNI, are we talking about this VNI that are used to model peerings? Or the VNIs that are used to model the appliances?
I think it's the appliance where it says VNI, and it's only one that you can configure via Dash. But Sai allows you.
Yeah, so the VNI is if the card is not in the floating mode, because then the card is basically in front of the VM. Then this VNI is definitely one. But in case the card is in floating mode, there is no actual VM there, right? So the VNI is not used from the point of view of a last mile, because the card is more like forwarding entity that traffic comes in from like a VNI of the main VNet or the peer VNets, and then it goes to, for example, the VNI of the express route circuits or on-prem or this kind of stuff, right? So in this case, in case there is a peering, but this is basically not for the floating unique part, but I think it will be used for the.
It's the same case even for non-floating NIC.
Yeah, for the non-floating, sure, but for the floating NIC, which so the VNI that is here, right? Which VNI in this example dash config we are talking about?
Appliance.
Dash appliance table.
Dash appliance.
Mm.
In this file or file?
Is it in the HLD?
Yeah, dash underscore appliance. Yeah. You can search for dash underscore appliance.
Thanks.
Yes, that one. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The right there, VNI, and it's you can specify one in Dash, but Sai allows you to put multiple VMs, each with its own VNI. And this being switch, I assume it serves multiple VMs. Why only one? Anyway, I'll try to find the ticket.
So this is appliance ID.
VM traffic will come with VM VNet, right?
This is
VNet
VM.
VNI, right? It is not the VM VNI, right? So each customer VM will come with each unique VNet VNI, right?
Yes.
And the VNet we are configuring the VNI, right?
Yeah, so this is per customer per ENI, right? So
but this is for appliance. You cannot make multiple of this. Yeah, this is all ticket.
For floating NIC, I was under the impression that we will have the express route gateways VNI. Like all the on-prem VMs will have
No, but I think the main question here is the multi-tenancy. So basically, because basically on one DPU, right, you can host multiple customer because multi-tenancy, right? So you can host multiple ENIs, right? One ENI may be in a floating mode. The other ENI may be for normal non-floating like VM mode. The third ENI will be also for the VM mode. And those VMs will be on different IPs. So that's why basically there will be different SIPs of those specific IPs, right? And they'll be doing outbound inbound. So Prabhat, how does exactly appliance table is used? So this is not per ENI? It's for the entire smart switch or entire DPU?
Yeah, the VMVNI is unique per appliance, and this was the way from the VNet to VNet days.
No, but I'm talking this dash appliance table.
Per DPU.
Tables per DPU. And what this table right now controls from the point of view side, like which side it translates to?
It's a different for the VM and floating NIC mode.
Okay, but then I think but in this case we have some problem with modeling because the ENI is in a floating mode versus the non-floating mode, and one DPU can handle multiple ENI. So there is no way that this dash appliance table is for the entire DPU.
Yeah, I think there was a discussion around this with Riff and Prince as well, right? Like I think for the POC we agreed we'll have just one tenant, right?
But the POC was supposed to be long term. Because, okay, something doesn't match with me with the original discussion, right? Because the original discussion was the ENI should be in basically this ENI is for this customer, this ENI is for this customer, this ENI is for this customer, right? Because the DPU should be able to have multiple ENIs. And then one ENI is basically set up in the floating mode versus not, right? So is the mode here the floating mode in the dash ENI table?
Yeah, we support it. There's a mode attribute.
Yeah, ENI, there's a mode. Yeah, the second last one.
Sure. So why we have mode on the appliance part? If you Krishna scroll slightly up, what's the mode on the appliance in this case?
Is there a mode on the appliance table? Like,
there is outbound direction lookup.
Yeah,
the direction lookup is configured based on the source or destination MAC address. So it's again something that defines the VM mode or a floating NIC mode. And with the current schema, we can run only in one mode per DPU. So it can be either VM or floating NIC. Both are not supported.
Yeah, I believe.
Okay, then probably that is wrong, right? Because right now, even in production, we are supporting one DPU with ENIs into different modes. So,
right. I think this was discussed, Michael. I think a month ago in this meeting. I think initially we agreed to go with that. I think Riff and Prince were also on the call, so that's what I understood.
I mean, maybe they initially agree from the point of view to kind of unblock the kind of stuff because we are doing right now the ER gateway bypass will be only floating in mode, but at the same point, this is multi-tenancy DPU, so it was always designed to handle more than one customer and more than one mode, right? So I think Prabhat, the Prince is not here, right? But like, why this is not multi-tenant configuration?
So yeah, I can take a look, but we probably need their input as well on this. But let me see. Let me discuss this with Lawrence internally, and then.
Yeah, because this needs to be multi-tenancy, right? So basically, it's per ENI, right? Because otherwise we'll not be able to handle kind of like one DPU that supports floating mode and non-floating mode, and right now we do support this.
And just to add, if you configure it via SI, works. And actually
yeah,
work.
exactly. So that's why I believe that we did all the good stuff on the firmware side, but I think the modeling probably we need to fix.
Yeah, it says we talked about it before. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recollect what was the conclusion. Vivek, you brought this up before, right?
So for the POC, I can tell what we agreed on that. So in general, we agreed that yes, both modes should be supported, and the Sonic schema should be updated to support both modes simultaneously. But for the POC, we agreed to go with the floating mode. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Floating mode. Perfect. Okay. So basically, I think so. In this case, what you are saying is like there is agreement that we need to make it support for both modes at the same time, right? But because basically there's some changes are needed, then we are okay with just floating mode for the POC, which is the correct stuff, right? But I'm assuming that there should be work item open that basically on Prince or Lawrence or Prabhat to basically update this modeling to the long-term support, right? And do we have this ADO, like not ADO, like a GitHub ticket? So we can track this.
I do not have that.
Okay.
So what I could do is link to this section and open about would you want an issue or I don't have a PR that would solve it. So or did you want me to do that or do you
I can I can open it. I think we need to check I mean, who's going to work on it?
Sure.
I'm not sure because Ruf was also involved in it for a bit.
Yeah, so. And those guys are on vacation, Michael. Too, and Prabhat. Yeah, they're. I think they're taking their 3 weeks. So
Prabhat, maybe open the ticket so it reminds they're right, and you can assign temporarily for you in transition to Reef or Prince when they can come back, right? And we can have internal meeting on this one. But at the end, basically, definitely firmware supports this. And it's also how we are working right now in production with the current stuff. So we need to
I think we all agree that we want to support both. But I think for the POC, I think NVIDIA was working on this.
Okay.
If we go back to the original question, so for the POC, we have an ability to provide only one VNI for the direction lookup, like for the inbound direction lookup. Is it enough?
But then one thing, in the floating mode, how this VNI is being used? Because there is no VM?
It is used for the direction look. So the VNI for the direction lookup configuration. So we configure the inbound or outbound, and then we specify the VNI that indicates the inbound direction.
Sure. So, and then if anything is outbound direction, you're saying?
Oh, that's maybe something that Prabhat can confirm. I don't remember that.
So how exactly this works? So basically, once you send this configuration saying that, hey, this VNI is, let's say, inbound, then any other VNI is outbound by default, or how this works?
I believe so. Yeah, that's my understanding. I can double check it. It's a while since I dealt with this.
Okay.
Maybe we can research it a bit and then cover it in the Friday call.
Yeah, something like this. So, Prabhat, do you have a management test for this Dash appliance table?
So the sonic management test covers all these. Yeah, it covers all these things. Dash appliance table, ENI table, route table, and all that stuff.
Okay. It covers the case of having just one VNI, right?
No, but it's better to find out the differences, right? So there are like there needs to be change across for vendors for these scripts. So we need to fix the differences. Then it will be common.
Yeah. What difference? So we don't have any difference in the floating.
What difference is
no. Basically, in case of express gateway, right? Bypass scenario or any traffic from on-prem coming to the DPU will be using the ENI trusted ENI table, there is a trusted VNI, right? It's going to come in the ENI trusted VNI.
Oh, it's a completely different configuration that we are.
No, it's there in the dash, right? In the dash ENI table, there is a field called trusted VNI.
We are talking right now about VNI, not the trusted VNI.
Okay, I think let's see how this works. I mean, the interesting stuff because POC anyway will be going with like a single kind of a express route circuit or single simulation on the on-prem. So one VNI or multiple VNI doesn't worry me from the POC perspective, right? But I was hoping that POC will allow us to basically put more customers on DPU, and that's why I'm kind of confused that this is only one here. So probably let's think internally. I'm more slightly that Prince is not here, but like Andrew was not here. But let's figure out. So Prabhat, can you point me to the link to the management test for this one that they're covering?
Is it this one?
This and the floating part.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, can you paste me this, Krishna?
Okay, this is the chat window.
Okay, this is the one that you pasted at this. Okay.
Senthil, is this management test covering your expected behavior, at least for Pensando?
Yeah, let me check that. Yeah, whatever. Let have to go through that, Prabhat. But I know what Michael wrote one that covers it. Let me check. The Cisco Michael wrote it. Let me check this PR. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I thought I had that open a second ago. Sorry, guys. Just give me a second. Oh, I just had it open.
While we still have 2 minutes. Another question that we have about the trusted VNI configuration. So from the SI point of view, we can support multiple ranges for the trusted VNI. So it shouldn't be one range. We can have, for example, one from 10 and 100 to 110, something like that. And from the sonic point of view, it's not supported. So we can specify only like one range of the trusted VNIs. So is this okay for the POC, or do we need to extend the sonic schema?
So specifying one range versus more ranges for the trusted VNI?
Yes.
And right now you have it globally, or you have it per ENI?
There are two configurations. Like one is the global and one is per ENI.
And this is like one range or one list of ranges?
One range. From sonic point of view, it's one range at this moment.
For trusted VNI?
Yes.
I think for POC will be fine.
Okay.
I mean, you can invoke that call multiple times for different ranges, possibly, right? Instead of having all the range list in one call, you want to potentially break that down into multiple API calls for different ranges. Is that possible?
It's not supported.
Yeah, it's not supported with the schema.
In Sonic with the current schema, yes. It is supported from the SI point of view. It's not supported from the Sonic point of view.
Got it.
Okay, so multiplay, I'm just taking out multiplay trusted VNI ranges not supported in schema. Yeah. Let me see what's the config that we actually will be pushing the code.
Okay, so let's see.
So one thing I wanted to mention was that from Pensando, we don't support the VNI, but because the express route gateway or the PL bypass doesn't need the VNI, I think we're okay. Is that correct?
Yeah, the VM VNI is not used for the ER gateway bypass or basically the floating mode, because it's the VM and there will be no VM here, so it should be fine.
Okay. Yeah.
So in this case, you are treating everything as outbound or everything as inbound? Everything as inbound, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's the correct stuff, right? So basically the current configuration that has basically one single configuration. Sure, I mean later we need to basically clarify it per ENI, but at the same point right now for the POC, because the entire DPU will be working in the floating mode and there'll be no support for the VM, so most likely the config that we will plan will be the config that will have basically some ENI there, which we will not use because there will be no VM, saying that it's the ENI for outbound, but any other ENIs will be treated as inbound, and this will work, right, for the floating mode, because everything will be kind of coming as inbound versus whether it's inbound from the on-prem or inbound from the VNet, right? So this is how we'll do this. So I'm not so much concerned about the current stuff that is not modeled on the ENI, right? Because most likely we'll just plumb the config with some VNI that will not be used for outbound. Because there is no VMs there.
That is the basic underlying difference between at least NVIDIA and Pensando, right? Because for NVIDIA, it's based on the VMVNI to determine the lookup direction for lookup.
I mean, VMVNI is still there in case we have a VM, right? But then, for example, in case of the multi-tenancy, like for example, on one DPU, right? So on one DPU have, let's say, 10 ENIs, right? And let's say 5 of those are handled by, like, there are like VMs, right? So for each of those, you basically specify that, hey, this VM uses this VNI, and this VM uses this VNI, and this VM uses this VNI for outbound, right? For those specific ENIs. And then any other basically ENIs are basically treated as inbound because they are just working the floating mode, right? So that's the multi-tenancy part.
And the VNIs are coming from the trusted VNI range, right?
No, the VM VNIs from trusted VNIs?
No, so in Pensando, how is it, like how do you determine the direction for in ethnic mode?
So the ethnic mode, we have the trusted VNI, right? So the incoming packet should be from the trusted VNI, which is on the ENI. The ENI specific trusted, not the global, the ENI specific trusted.
Specific to the ENI.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
but what I wanted to mention was that even for the non-ethnic regular VM, we don't have this concept of a VM VNI. So just wanted to mention that.
So that is completely ignored, the VM VNI config in the appliance table?
Yes.
Okay, I have maybe some proposal. You were talking about the diffs, right? Because Marcia will send the information about the diffs from the point of view of JSON config, right? My question is, because we are right now, those two kind of questions right now are about VNIs, whether it's a Dash appliance or the trusted VNI, right? So may I even ask for both here, basically, implementations, right? Can you guys write some quick MDPR or something like this, or even send it over email to clarify how exactly you guys in existing implementation implemented the inbound lookup in the firmware from the point of view of looking at this outbound, inbound MAC addresses, trusted VNIs or not trusted VNIs in both normal mode and the floating mode. So then we can figure out how exactly it works, and then Prabhat basically we'll have some reference of how exactly it works in, for example, Pensando or NVIDIA or Keysight, Keysight Labs, and stuff like this, right? Like if we get this from all the vendors, then we can also figure out what's the diff there. And then we can make sure that we kind of solve those diffs, right? And it will put us in the same place, right?
Michael or Prabhat, can you please send an email with the list of the questions that you have, like just to list all the behaviors that you want to clarify, and then we will provide an answer for that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're out of time. I think that was a lot. Internally, Michael and Prabhat, I've opened an issue for us and ADO.
Okay.
And yeah, okay. Thanks everyone for coming to the call. And just a reminder, OCP's coming up. I know I'll be down there, and I think I've mentioned that before, but thanks everyone for your time, and I will write up some notes and see you next time.
Perfect. Thank you,
Okay,
Krishna.
thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.